High school is hypnotic. It ticks and talks, drawing us into a world we know all too well. From memories, dreams, and most of all, from the movies.
What inspired you to come up with the idea for the documentary then?
Well, I just got into a habit of like rewatching all of the teen movies that I'd been obsessed with when I was a teenager, but seeing them in this entirely new light. So I was still kind of overwhelmed by the nostalgia and like affection that I had for those movies, but at the same time kind of unnerved by all the elements of them that I'd never noticed before. And so it was just, I was trying to think of a way to kind of distill that down into something to kind of exercise it from my system, and this seemed like the most obvious way.
How do you think audiences in London react to it compared to other cities around the UK?
In a way, when you live in the UK and my growing up in London, that world, that American teen movie world, is almost more pure because it's purely on the screen. You know, it's something that you kind of live vicariously through from halfway around the world. And it seems to be the exact same thing whenever we screen it, you know, to British audiences. You get this real response of like they're drawn back to this parallel universe they lived in as a teenager. You get a 90s teen movie icon to actually narrate this. Tell me about her. Fairuza Balk it has always been one of my like massive idols, and for me is so you know, people who don't know, she starred in The Craft, Almost Famous, various other films like that, and her voice is so incredibly evocative for me and takes me straight back to that very specific time and place, and hopefully will do the same for audiences. So when she agreed to come on board, that was a kind of insane moment where the film suddenly felt like a real entity that we had in our hands rather than a sort of mad passion project. There's something about cinemas in the capital that tend to embrace this genre. I mean, the Prince Charles does regular overnighters with teen movies. What is it about the city that we just tend to get these films really and understand them in a completely unique way? Well, I think London's done a better job than a lot of cities of kind of holding on to some sort of rep circuit. And so you do have screenings of these old films. And the Prince Charles, where we're screening, in fact, on Wednesday, is such a brilliant place for that, and they've managed to build this audience that really will go out and see old movies, which is so rare nowadays, and especially these kind of films. You know, I was trying to challenge the Prince Charles to kind of, you know, think of films from our film that they hadn't screened in the last like 5 years, and I thought it would be easy because nowhere screens these old teen movies, but they had like Idle Hands they've been taking out of storage, and you know, Mean Girls and Clueless seem to be on there every other week, so it really feels like a perfect setting.